Hello again. This is Peggy Fields Richardson. You're at 30 Days to More Joy in Your Life, and today is day 7. Today's lesson is called Joy in Better Self-Esteem. When you feel good about yourself, joy is much easier to find and appreciate. And I think that good self-esteem is the gift that far too often people fail to give themselves. I know that when people talk with me about their perception of me, it's the one thing about which they usually comment most often. So you ask, how on earth does an over 50, over 300-pound woman who is not a college graduate and is not wealthy feel so good about herself? Well, actually, I can answer that. You see, I have no memories of being anything but a chunkette. From my very earliest memories, I was already a fluffy girl, and the one thing I really had going for me was that I was a fluffy daddy's girl. I think I knew from my very first breath that my daddy adored me. I was tiny at birth, I had big brown eyes, and I looked exactly like my daddy from the very beginning. My daddy literally wore me on his arm like an adornment, carrying me around and introducing me as his baby doll for the first several years of my life. Of course, growing up fat can sure take its toll on your self-esteem, and I won't deny that my self-image suffered tremendous damage during my formative years. By the time I was in high school, I knew I was intelligent. I had developed a devil-may-care, mischievous, fun personality, and I could excel at anything which I attempted, except weight loss, of course. I was good in school, I was a fast thinker, and I felt good about those things. I also thought that I was really unattractive. It didn't really bother me that I was unattractive. I thought I had always been unattractive. It was just something I had accepted as a fact. I mean, really, I was 18 and firm and fresh, with long, straight, dark hair and an easy smile, and I always wondered why gorgeous men would flirt with me and ask me out. I realized that wherever I went, there was fun. I figured that's why. It just didn't add up in my mind that I could actually be attractive. Even though perfect strangers were asking me out, I still thought I was quite ugly. When I look back on it, I realized that if I were truly as unattractive as I then believed, that would not have been happening. I mean, why didn't I ask myself this question? How could complete strangers know that I was fun? I spent years having the self-esteem of a toad. And then I met a very interesting man I'll call Scotty. Scotty and I were out for a drive one night, talking and stargazing. We did that back in the 70s. And he commented that he had noticed how much men loved me. I acknowledged they did, and then said I couldn't understand why. I said, I'm just an ugly little fat girl from Pegram, Tennessee. Scotty screeched his car to a stop right in the middle of the road, flipped down the passenger side sun visor, and said, "Look in there, what do you see?" Just an ugly little fat girl from Pegram, Tennessee," I said. "Wrong," Scotty exclaimed. "You are so wrong." I sat there completely confused, while he went on to tell me that I was a beautiful young woman with so much to offer, that I had charisma and sex appeal, and, well, he went on and on about not only my physical attraction, which I'd never even considered that I had, but traits having to do with personality and charm and character. He said things I couldn't ever have imagined anyone saying to me or about me. By the end of that evening, I was completely blown away by all he said. So what happened? I realized that my view of myself and other people's view of me was quite drastically different, and I began my quest to discover the truth. Did my self-esteem soar overnight? No, it didn't, of course not. But what did happen overnight was that I became open to the thought, the very beginning, the tiniest sliver of a belief that I was not ugly, that I was valuable, and that I really did have something to offer. My quest for this truth had me doing a lot of soul searching, from looking into the mirror with an open mind to looking inside at the real person behind the fluffy facade. I literally made lists of the positive and negative things about myself. And do you know what I discovered? First, I discovered that the face in the mirror was not ugly. Good eyes, nice mouth, thick, silky hair. I figured out that I wasn't drop-dead gorgeous, but cute wasn't a stretch either. My body? Oh yeah, there was plenty of it, but overall, that wasn't too bad either. Ample, perky, then, breast, smooth, touchable complexion. Again, not too bad. I wasn't ugly. I really wasn't. That, my friends, was quite a revelation for me. Next, I looked at my list of personal assets, the positive things about myself. Intelligence. I was fun and fair and compassionate and caring. I was a good friend and a great listener. I was honest, socially conscious, loving, and passionate about a lot of things. None of those were bad things. In fact, I realized I had never gone out of my way to hurt anyone. I did volunteer work on a suicide prevention line. I helped raise funds for nonprofits, and generally made positive contributions in the world around me. My negative list included things like I get angry too easily, I had a foul mouth, allowing myself to be used far too often, reacting too quickly at times. All those were things I resolved to work on. When I compared the lists, I realized that my positive traits really did outweigh my negative ones. Maybe this is something to which most people say, so what? Is that a big surprise? But the truth is, it was a big surprise for me. While I knew I had some positive traits, overall, I didn't feel like I was a whole lot of value as a person. Actually, taking my personal inventory of my positive and negative traits and actually studying what I had to offer as a friend and companion was a real eye-opener for me, and it helped me develop a healthy sense of self-realization and self-esteem. So, here's your exercise for today. I want you to take a look at yourself and evaluate your own positive and negative traits. Make your list and be honest. Only you are going to see this list. When making your negative traits list, be sure to include things that negatively influence you, not only things that negatively influence others. For example, if you apologize when you don't feel you were wrong, just to resolve a conflict, and it chews at you, or if you allow yourself to get cornered into doing things that you strongly don't wish to do. Be completely fair with yourself in making your list. And then, when you're done, take a long, insightful look at the list. First, the negatives. Review each item carefully and mull them over. Look at what situations bring out particular negative traits and think about how you might respond differently, perhaps next time in a more positive manner. When you finish evaluating and reviewing your negatives list, go to the list of your positive traits. Again, review each of them and take the time to appreciate the positive aspects of your character and your personality. Finally, resolve to change those things that you consider to be negative. Determine ways to achieve this change. And last, celebrate the positive. Celebrate the person you are, the things you have to offer. Celebrate your value as a person, as a friend, as a parent. Take this time to celebrate you. Thanks for being here. See you tomorrow. Bye.